The year was 1945. The war was over. The world breathed a sigh of relief. But for Germany, this relief proved deadlier than war itself. Every street, every neighborhood echoed only silence. Yet behind that silence were screams, and the targets of those screams were German women. When Hitler took his own life, it wasn't just one man who died. An entire nation had broken. But the most shattered were the mothers and sisters, who had done nothing but be German. April 30th, 1945, Berlin took its last breath. Soviet forces had entered the city from every direction. Corpses hung from doorways, children ran without mothers, and mothers lived without hope. For the Soviet soldiers, this city was the heart of their enemy, and every German became a symbol of revenge. But who bore the brunt of that anger first? The women. Every Soviet soldier carried hatred in his heart. The devastation of years of war, the loss of comrades, the screams of the fallen. All of it boiled over when they stormed the city. And the easiest target for their rage? The innocent German women. Mothers were torn from their homes, sisters dragged into the streets, forced to witness the collapse of everything they had ever known. Thousands of women, their lives reduced to fear and chaos in a single moment. Those who survived the first wave of violence found themselves in a city that had been erased. Homes were rubble, shops looted, streets empty. Women walked through ruins holding their children, carrying the weight of loss, despair, and humiliation. Their husbands were dead, missing, or prisoners of war. Their sons had been conscripted into a war they could neither fight nor understand. And yet, the world outside Germany celebrated victory, unaware of the suffering within. History would remember generals, leaders, and the battles, but the pain of ordinary women would fade into silence. Thousands of stories of fear, survival, and shattered dreams were never told. Mothers who lost everything, sisters who witnessed atrocities, children who would never know their fathers. Their voices drowned in the narrative of victory. And yet, their suffering, though hidden, remained a silent testament to the cost of war. The city of Berlin lay in ruins, yet the suffering of its women had only just begun. With the front lines moved on, the aftermath became a lawless world where fear and despair replaced the sounds of war. Food was scarce, homes were destroyed, and every step outside carried the risk of violence. Mothers clutched their children, whispering prayers into ears that could not yet understand the horrors they had survived. Sisters walked silently, their eyes hollow, carrying memories that could never be erased. Even those who had managed to hide from the initial chaos found no refuge. The streets were patrolled by soldiers and opportunists alike. Trust had vanished. Every stranger was a threat, every shadow a potential danger. The city that had once been the heart of Europe had become a labyrinth of ruin, despair, and fear. For German women, life had transformed into a daily act of survival, not of living. The Allied forces were seen as liberators by some, yet for others, they were agents of vengeance. Many women found themselves at the mercy of soldiers whose minds were shaped by years of bloodshed. The distinction between soldier and executioner blurred, and countless women bore the weight of crimes committed in the name of revenge. These acts were never part of any history book, quietly erased, hidden behind the official narratives of victory and liberation. Amidst this chaos, some women attempted to rebuild their lives. They gathered what little food they could find, scrounged for clothes, and searched for relatives. Yet every small success was shadowed by loss. The trauma of war, the memories of assault, and the constant fear of the unknown made every day a battle of its own. Children grew up without fathers, women aged faster than time, and communities struggled to reclaim even a fragment of their past. Despite all, human resilience persisted. Secret gatherings, whispered stories, and acts of solidarity emerged among the women. They helped each other find food, hide from danger, and occasionally share laughter amid tragedy. These small acts of courage became lifelines, though the world outside rarely knew or cared. Every story of survival was personal, yet collectively they painted a picture of quiet heroism amidst devastation. Years would pass before Germany began to rise from the ashes, but for those who had lived through the immediate aftermath, the war never truly ended. Memory became both a curse and a shield. Some women chose to bury the horrors deep within, while others carried them openly as a reminder of resilience and loss. The psychological scars of those years lingered, shaping generations to come. Historians would later study battles, leaders, and military strategies, but the experiences of ordinary women remained largely invisible. Their suffering, courage, and endurance were seldom recorded. Yet these untold stories were no less powerful than any battlefield triumph. The silent endurance of mothers, the whispered prayers of daughters, the quiet strength of sisters. These were the hidden chronicles of a war that claimed far more than lives alone. Even as Berlin slowly rebuilt, the shadows of the past haunted every corner. Ruined buildings, empty streets, and the distant echoes of what had been lost served as reminders of the price paid by those who had no voice in history. The resilience of these women, however, became the foundation upon which post-war Germany would eventually stand. Their survival was a testament to the strength of the human spirit, proving that even in the darkest times, hope could persist, fragile, yet unyielding. By the time the world celebrated the end of war, countless German women had endured horrors that no history book would ever fully recount. They carried invisible wounds, survived unimaginable acts, and bore the weight of rebuilding lives amidst destruction. Their stories, though hidden, remind us that war's cost extends far beyond battlefields and generals. It reaches deep into the lives of ordinary people, especially those most vulnerable. In remembering them, we honor not only the history of a nation but the resilience of humanity itself. Their voices, once silenced by the chaos of war, echo through time, a haunting reminder that the aftermath of conflict is often as devastating as the conflict itself. And as Berlin rose again, these women stood quietly, rebuilding, surviving, and testifying to a truth too often forgotten: that in the shadow of war, endurance and courage are the true legacies of Surviva.